Okay, process to make some internal window shutters using just MDF. Got 6mm for the trim and 10mm on the inside for the boards. Let's have a look. I actually had all these cut to size at the timber yard, so no one likes breathing in MDF dust. So I'm just going to show you how to do this without a tape measure. So all we do, line it all up where you want it to be. This is the design we're going to run with. Down the end, mark your line, and then cut. So there's our line we want to cut. I've just raised it up with some little offcuts just to get it up off the workpiece, and I'm only going to do this with a handsaw, which is there. And then we just do the same with the other one. Just a quick thing, when cutting these out, this end, the long end, is the one I need for the piece. And this is my offcut here. So if you got your line, always cut on the side of the line that you don't need, because it's always better to be long than short, because you can't add bits on, but you can always take bits off. Just a little tip. And any little bits at the end that might overhang by a millimetre, maybe not even, you can just sand them off. And so any bits that overhang past the end of the main board, you can always sand them back later, so it's always better to have more than cut it short, because you can't add it on at the end. So we're going to do 4 small cross details in the middle. So for this we can just use our offcut. And again, no tape, just place it on. Make sure that end is flush, because that's your finished position. Just put a bit of pressure. And obviously make sure this side is the same. Create a little mark. And then just transfer the line, and that's our new piece, and that's our offcut, which we will use for the other 3. Little sand, get rid of the burr. Pretty spot on. Now we just have to cut the other 3. A good little tip here is just let the saw do the work. There's no need to push hard into the material. Just let the saw glide through and the teeth should do the rest. So there's our 4 pieces cut, and now we just have to space them out. So let's see how that works. So easiest way to get the spacing is as follows. So we just take all of the blocks, put them at one end flush. We know we've got 3 gaps, 1, 2, 3, and that's the last one. And this is one time where we need our tape, probably the only time on this job. Put the tape on down the other end and measure back to the start of the block, 149, divided by the amount of gaps that you've got, which is 3, and that turns out to be just over 49.5 centimeters. So let's space them out. So with that 49.5 centimeters, we just put the first block in place, flush on that end, measure 49.5 from here to the next one, mark it, put the block in place, measure that side, and then measure 49.5 from here to the next one, mark it, put the block in place, mark it, and measure back to the last one, and it all works out to be 49.5 centimeters. And now let the gluing begin. Okay, gluing is complete. Just put a clamp here and down the other end just to hold this paneling on top of the main board in place while it is drying. PVA in play, it can have a tendency to slide around slightly, so that should resolve that from happening. Otherwise, double checking the spacing before the glue goes off. It's always a good idea, making sure it's all good. It's always a good idea to double check your work. Following this, once it's all dry, I'll give all this glue a little bit of a sand off, then I can undercoat, maybe 2 top coats, and then we can think about hanging the doors. But yeah, quick and easy way with hardly much use of the tape at all, except for the spacing, to make some internal window shutters from MDF. So hope you enjoyed, and we'll catch up in the next one.